Welcome to my channel. Subscribe and enjoy my new stories every day. I had always prided myself on being a trusting husband. Mabel, my wife of 10 years, had never given me a reason to doubt her until her promotion 6 months ago brought her closer to her boss, Mr. Clark. His sharp suits and slick demeanor always set off alarms in my head, but Mabel laughed off my concerns, assuring me that he was just a dedicated mentor. It was a Tuesday like any other when I decided to surprise Mabel with lunch at her office. As I approached Mr. Clark's door, the muffled sounds of laughter floated through the air. My heart thumped in my chest with a mix of excitement and something else I couldn't quite place, apprehension, perhaps. I knocked lightly, a courtesy more than anything, since the door was slightly ajar. Receiving no answer, I pushed the door open. The sight before me froze the blood in my veins. There was Mabel, perched casually on the edge of Mr. Clark's massive oak desk, her skirt hiked up. And there he was, Mr. Clark, on his knees before her, his head buried in her lap. The laughter died on my lips as a cold fury replaced it. Mabel's eyes widened in horror as she scrambled off the desk, straightening her clothes. Mr. Clark stood up swiftly, adjusting his tie, his face flushed with embarrassment, or was it guilt? "James, it's not what it looks like," Mabel stammered, her voice a mix of fear and pleading. I couldn't speak. The betrayal was too sharp, too raw. I turned on my heel and walked out without a word, the image of Mabel and her boss seared into my mind. In the hours that followed, my shock morphed into anger. The trust one had placed in her was shattered, scattered like the pieces of my broken heart. I couldn't stay in our home, every corner a reminder of the life we had built together. Instead, I drove aimlessly, my mind racing with the visuals of betrayal. That night, I didn't go home. I stayed at a motel, my mind waging a war between the love I had for Mabel and the venomous sting of her deceit. As dawn broke, the path forward became clear. I couldn't let this betrayal stand. I needed retribution, not just for the deceit but for every lie that must have accompanied her affair. The following days were a blur of lawyers and quiet rage. I filed for divorce swiftly, ignoring Mabel's pleas for a conversation, her texts laden with apologies and promises of it being a one-time mistake. But the trust was gone, and without trust, what was left? I trusted you, Mabel. Not just with my heart but with my dreams, my future. I finally spoke to her across the table in the lawyer's office, the coldness in my voice a contrast to the turmoil inside. Her eyes welled with tears, but they sparked no sympathy in me. The woman I loved would never have betrayed me like this. As we signed the papers that dissolved our marriage, I promised myself this was not just an end. It was the beginning of her undoing. She would understand the gravity of her betrayal, not through my words, but through the ruins of the life she once cherished. As I walked away from the lawyer's office, a plan began to take shape in my mind. Mabel's life, as she knew it, was about to change drastically. I had supported her in every aspect, and now, I would be her silent adversary. She would never see me again, but she would feel the consequences of her actions for a long time to come. With each step, my resolve hardened. Betrayal would be met with retribution. This was just the beginning. The cool morning breeze brushes against my face as I walk the few blocks to the coffee shop we used to frequent together, Mabel and I. It's part of my routine now, not for the coffee, but for the proximity to her world. Each step is measured, a calculated move in the chess game of our collapsed marriage. Today, the stakes are higher, and my moves more deliberate. As I push open the door, the familiar bell chimes, announcing my entry. I scan the room and spot her immediately, Mabel, looking as composed as ever, sitting with a friend. She hasn't seen me yet, good. I order my coffee and take a strategic seat where I can hear their conversation without being noticed. And he just walked out, Lisa. Just like that. Didn't even give me a chance to explain. Mabel's voice is shaky, her usual confidence slipping. It's just awful, Mabel. But, maybe it's for the best. You said James was getting too possessive, right? Her friend responds, her voice a soothing balm. I almost scoff at the lie. Possessive? If only caring too much and trusting too blindly were crimes. Mabel nods, dabbing her eyes with a napkin. I just don't know how I'm going to manage everything now. He was handling so many things, you know, the finances, our investments. That's my cue. I finish my coffee and prepare for my next move. Later that day, I meet with my financial advisor. The office is stark, clinical, but it serves its purpose. James, are you sure you want to proceed with this? Divesting from the joint ventures could impact you as well, he advises, concern etching his features. I'm sure. I want to liquidate everything that ties me to her. Make sure the information gets out. Anonymously, of course. Her standing in the company relies on her financial stability and image. Shake that, and things start falling apart, I explain with a calm I don't feel. The next few days are a blur of meetings and decisions. Selling off properties we owned together, pulling out of investments that benefited her career, watching as the ripples of each decision start to impact her life. Through mutual friends, who still think they are helping a grieving husband, I hear of the struggles, the questions about her financial acumen, the whispers of instability. A week later, I find myself back at the coffee shop. This time, Mabel spots me as soon as I walk in. Her eyes lock with mine, a flash of anger, or perhaps panic, crosses her face. She excuses herself from her friend and walks over to me. James, can we talk? She asks, her voice a mix of desperation and defiance. Not much to talk about, is there? I keep my tone neutral, detached. You're ruining me. Why? I made a mistake, yes. But what are you gaining from all this? There's a plea in her eyes, searching for the man she once knew. I'm not gaining anything, Mabel. I'm just ensuring fair play. You took something precious from me, so it's only fair you lose something yourself, I reply coolly. She flinches as if struck, her eyes welling up. James, please. I stand up, leaving a few bills on the table for my coffee. Goodbye, Mabel. Take care of yourself. As I walk out, the chill in the air feels sharper, biting. I've set the stage for her undoing, but this is just the opening act. The real drama is yet to unfold. My revenge is cold, calculated, and just beginning. The city's skyline casts long shadows as I drive through the bustling streets, my mind replaying the latest developments like a strategic playbook. Mabel's visible distress at the coffee shop confirms the effectiveness of my actions, but this game is far from over. My next move requires precision, and for that, I need an ally. Turning into a less frequented part of town, I pull up to a modest building housing a detective agency. The man I'm here to meet is an old college friend turned private investigator. If anyone can dig up dirt, it's Marcus. I find him in his usual spot, surrounded by monitors displaying various feeds, a testament to his thoroughness. James, to what do I owe the pleasure? Marcus greets me with a knowing smile, his eyes not missing the hardened look I wear like armor. I need information, Marcus. The kind that could sway decisions at Mabel's company, I state plainly, cutting to the chase. Marcus raises an eyebrow, his interest piqued. Sounds serious. What's the target? Her boss, Mr. Clark. There's something off about him. I caught him with Mabel, and I'm certain it wasn't a one-off. I need something concrete, something that shows a pattern. Say no more, Marcus replies, already typing away at his keyboard. I'll start digging into Mr. Clark's past dealings. If there's dirt, I'll find it. Leaving Marcus to his devices, I drive away, the city lights blurring as I formulate my next steps. The thought of exposing both Mabel and her boss brings a cold satisfaction, but also a pang of sorrow for the love we once shared. However, the path I've chosen allows no room for such sentimentality. Days turn into nights, and soon, Marcus calls me with an update. We meet at a quiet bar, away from prying eyes. Found something interesting, Marcus begins, sliding a folder across the table. Inside, photographs and documents paint a damning picture of Mr. Clark involved in not just infidelity but potentially fraudulent business practices. This could do it, I murmur, my eyes scanning the evidence. With the right push, this could topple him, and her. Be careful, James. This kind of information can backfire, Marcus warns, his tone serious. I know what I'm doing, I assure him, although a part of me wonders if that's entirely true. Armed with the new information, I make an anonymous call to a contact at a major local newspaper. The tip leads to a front-page exposé on Mr. Clark. The fallout is immediate and devastating. Clark is suspended pending investigation, and the scandal taints everyone associated with him, including Mabel. The next time I see her, it's at another coffee shop. She looks worn, tired. I watch unnoticed from a distance, the part of me that once loved her aching at the sight. But then I remember the betrayal, and my resolve strengthens. Days later, I hear through our dwindling mutual contacts that Mabel has been demoted. The company couldn't fire her outright without cause but made it clear her career trajectory had stalled. As I sit in my car outside the coffee shop, watching her emerge, her shoulders slumped, a sense of victory mixes with an unanticipated remorse. I've taken almost everything from her, mirroring my own sense of loss. But the game isn't over yet, the final act of my retribution awaits. Driving away, I leave Mabel to her diminished world, the cityscape reflecting my conflicted emotions. My revenge is nearly complete, yet the taste it leaves is unexpectedly bitter. The city, once a vibrant backdrop to a life filled with promise and love, now mirrors the dusk of my revenge. The once bright skyline flickers under the weight of gathering clouds, much like the tumult within me as I prepare for the final act of my meticulously laid plan. My phone buzzes, it's Marcus. James, you need to see this, his voice is tense, urgent. He sends over a file, and as I open it, my pulse quickens. It's a video, one that shows not just Mabel and Mr. Clark in another damning situation, but a third person too, my best friend, Alex. The revelation hits like a freight train. Alex, the man who stood by me at my wedding, the confidant with whom I shared every heartbreak and triumph. His betrayal cuts deeper than Mabel's, igniting a fury that burns away any remnants of the man I once was. I drive to Alex's house, the storm within me as fierce as the one brewing in the sky. The door swings open, and there he stands, unaware of the storm about to break. James. What's up, man? Alex greets me, but his smile falters at the sight of my expression. We need to talk, I say, my voice calm but carrying an edge sharper than any blade. Inside, I confront him with the video. Alex's face goes white, his betrayal laid bare. James, I didn't know how to tell you. Save it, Alex. You made your choice. My words are ice, severing the bonds of our friendship with surgical precision. Leaving Alex to his guilt, I head to Mabel's workplace. She's there, pale and shaken, probably from the fallout of the latest expose. I watch her from a distance, preparing to deliver the final blow. I walk up to her, the last piece of my plan clutched in my hand, a set of documents that not only links her to Clark's fraudulent activities but also implicates her in a scheme that would ensure she never works in this industry again. Mabel, I begin, my voice devoid of any warmth she once knew, this is where it ends. She looks up, her eyes searching mine for a sign of the man she married. James, please. I'm sorry. It's too late for sorry. I hand her the documents. You'll need a good lawyer. With that, I leave, the sound of her sobs trailing behind me. The finality of the moment is heavy, suffocating, but necessary. I've dismantled her life, piece by piece, as she did mine. The drive home is a blur. I sit in the gathering darkness, the silence oppressive, when a knock at the door jolts me. I open it to find a detective standing there, his expression grim. "Mr. Taylor, I'm afraid I have some bad news," he starts, and suddenly, I understand. The violent, insidious paths of revenge rarely lead to peace. Your actions have set off a chain of events. There's been a suicide, Mr. Clark. He left a note, mentioning the pressure, the scandal. The words punched the air from my lungs. The game of revenge, played so ruthlessly, has claimed more than just my enemy's happiness, it's taken a life. As the detective leaves, the full weight of my actions crashes down on me. In my quest for retribution, I've lost parts of myself I'll never reclaim. Mabel, Clark, Alex, they were casualties in a war I waged on betrayal, but so was I. Sitting alone, the echoes of my choices reverberating through the empty rooms, I realize the bitter truth: in seeking vengeance, I've crafted my own prison. The shadows of what I've done will linger, long after the storm has passed.